Can I be real for 1 second? Why did I think Dricus du Plessis was gonna look bigger than Hamza? Bro, I seen a video on Twitter today, and Hamza looks bigger. Now I know there was a like a 1 inch height advantage, but everyone knows Dricus du Plessis, dude. He's upper body, crazy physique. Just he doesn't look like a 185. Like, I'm gonna be honest, because it looks like he weighs in fight day at like 220. Gotta be. Cause that dude he's a big motherfucker, bro. And I thought before seeing the clip I saw, I was thinking to myself like, damn, is Chimaev, like, how is it gonna look grappling a person that is bigger? And then I see the video and I'm like, wait, he's smaller. And it's not like a huge difference, obviously. And it shouldn't play like a key role in the fight. But definitely, like, I had some doubts, you know, because Chimaev, I'm pretty sure all his opponents are smaller than him. You know, every opponent he's faced besides Kevin Holland, but fuck Kevin Holland. But yeah, it threw me off a little bit. And then I went to go, you know, watch some film, break down the fight. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna go over my film study, my technical breakdown of both fighters and who I think is gonna win, because I think it's a pretty clear shot for Chimaev. I'm not gonna lie. It's for multiple reasons. I see the fight going multiple ways, but I see the same outcome. And that's just because Chimaev he's talented, bro. I don't think, like, as far as domination and grappling, we haven't seen someone like him since Khabib, you know? And that's not crazy to say at all. You look at all his wins, it's straight domination. Even Kamaru Usman, like Kamaru Usman coming in on short notice at 185. Kamaru Usman is a technical striker and wrestler. We seen that with Joaquin Buckley. I was surprised when Usman was plus 200 against Joaquin Buckley. Usman, like, who is a world-class wrestler. But again, like Chimaev going against someone who was technical, who was arguably one of the best welterweights before the Leon Edwards fights. Very technical, like I said. And with someone like Dricus du Plessis, who isn't technical, very awkward, unorthodox, but it works for him, his physicality, you know. But I always think technique beats physicality. I feel like that happens most of the time, and especially with someone like Hamza Chimaev, who can have that technicality but also be explosive and physical at the same time. Now obviously, like, it's a 5-round fight, so who knows if that can carry on to the later rounds. We haven't seen him in those 4th, 5th championship rounds, and we've seen him in the Kamaru Usman fight. He kind of slowed down in the 3rd round, but like I said, with Usman, like, he's such a good wrestler defending and even being offensive that, yeah, it made it hard for Chimaev to get that sub. And on short notice, it's going to be hard for anybody against a technical fighter like that. So whereas Dricus du Plessis, he hasn't really gone against, I mean, his past recent 3 fights, he hasn't really gone anyone with superior grappling or wrestling. You have 2 Sean Strickland wins and a fight against Izzy and Robert Whittaker. So in the last 2 years, he's gone against really no one with the best wrestling or grappling credentials. Not saying his wrestling is going to be bad, but it's definitely something that he's going to have to fight differently that he fought in the last 2 years. And it's just true. And if you go back to his Derek Brunson win, obviously we saw Derek Brunson gas out completely, but you saw in that 1st round, why are you getting controlled by Derek Brunson? Derek Brunson at that time was 39. That was one of Derek Brunson's, like, last fight. Like, he's fighting for a paycheck at that point, and you're getting controlled in the 1st. Now, obviously, like I said, he gassed out, but visuals didn't look good. You saw when he got taken down, there was no technique in getting up. It was straight physicality, and trying to be physical against someone who has technique and physicality is just not going to work. It's in the grappling realm. Obviously, in the stand-up realm, we've seen strikers that are super physical and it works for him. You know, like someone like Michael Chandler, the physicality and explosiveness works for him. But I don't see that here. And if we look at both stances, Hamza gonna be fighting taller, so he's gonna look taller in the octagon. Now that I've seen that Twitter clip today, Dricus du Plessis kind of bends the knees a little, which is good. But also with du Plessis, I see sloppy footwork. I see very sloppy footwork. I see telegraph blitzed. I see sometimes where he's overreaching. And like I said, like, this isn't going to be this isn't going to be a boxing match. This isn't going to be 5 rounds with Sean Strickland where he's throwing a jab. It's going to be a ground match. It really is. Because there's no doubt in my mind that Chimaev can't get that first takedown. And we have to see how Dricus handles that. Now, his coach believes in, obviously, his fighter, believes in his wrestling. I think they said something along the lines like they want to bring the fight to him. So it would be interesting to see Dricus du Plessis, like, shoot first or push the pace and be first. But I think in that, we're going to see him either overreach or make a mistake to where Chimaev can have that shot. This guy, Chimaev, man, he's shooting takedowns across the octagon. So it's, like I said, no doubt in my mind he's not going to get a single leg or get a double leg. And you actually look at Dricus du Plessis, like I said, his footwork. His feet can be together at times. And what I mean by that, like, you want to have a solid stance against someone who's grappling and who you know is going to grapple you. And when your feet are together, it makes it harder for you to kind of defend that double leg without getting their hands locked or without getting that single leg. Now, I think Dricus du Plessis is obviously training the sprawl. But, man, how can you sprawl against someone like Chimaev who is so unpredictable with his shots? Like, really unpredictable with his shots. And it's not even like he's setting it up with anything crazy. It's just he's covering so much distance and being explosive at the same time to where you can't see the shot. You could barely see the shot coming. So, like I said, I could see this fight going, you know, multiple ways, but I see the same outcome. I think it would be Chimaev by sub in the first 2 rounds, just like everyone else thinks, because it's pretty obvious, man. It's pretty obvious. Now, even in the stand-up, which I don't think is going to be in that realm for long, even in the stand-up, I still like, you know, Chimaev's defense and his technicality. Like, you see him throwing the right punches, you know, 1-2s, straight punches, and you see him slip and roll. Which is always nice. Like, I always love seeing defense tendencies, especially someone who, you know, doesn't have the best boxing, but they still have those defensive tendencies to where they can still be a problem. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be in the striking realm, but if it is, I do like Khamzat Chimaev's chances to at least defend himself and get that shot going. Now, also with Dricus du Plessis, now obviously with his last 4 opponents like being boxers, he's fighting at that kickboxing range. You know, being at that kickboxing range, I don't think he's safe. I feel like that's where Chimaev can be comfortable, where he's at that range to where he could be able to shoot, but he could also get his strikes off. So yeah, like everything in this fight and everything that Dricus does makes me think that Khamzat Chimaev is going to be comfortable as ever in that octagon. To me, there's not a doubt in my mind that he struggles in this fight. Just from what I've seen and the talent that Khamzat Chimaev brings, like, I don't know. I don't see it going du Plessis' way. Now, obviously, it's a fight. Anything can happen. To me, du Plessis' only way is by taking it to deep waters. But do we really think, like, he's going to get up, survive, scramble against Khamzat Chimaev? Like, I don't see it. I don't. And don't get me wrong, Dricus du Plessis has, you know, the power to obviously hurt him. But his power is more of a build-up. We've seen that with Israel Adesanya. Like, you kind of felt that the shot was coming. It was only a matter of time, and then he gets it late in the 4th and jumps on the sub. His TKOs or KOs are mostly like a consistent buildup of strikes. So like I said, his best case scenario for Dricus du Plessis is to take this to deep waters. Like that's the only way. That's the only way. Man, I'm very, very excited. I'm super excited. It's an amazing card too. I will be posting other technical breakdowns. I think I'm gonna give you guys an Aaron Pico breakdown just because I feel like, you know, everyone's doubting him because of Patchy Mix. Bro, Patchy Mix fucked it up for PFL fighters and Bellator fighters. I'm not gonna lie. Like, ever since Patchy Mix, yo, no one's been fucking with the PFL and Bellator fighters. I'm gonna be real. But I do think Aaron Pico is very talented. So I'll bring that up in another video. I'll post that within the week. But yeah, you guys let me know in the comments. Who do you think is gonna win? How do you see the fight goes? Do you think it's gonna be hard for Chimaev? Do you think it's gonna be easy? Do you think people are doubting du Plessis? Let me know. I do look at everybody's like opinion and what they think of the fight and take it into consideration because, you know, you never know. It's a fight. But yeah, gonna be a very interesting fight. I'm excited as fuck for Saturday. Get the beers ready. Get the wings ready. We fucking ready. We ready to see Chimaev. And I think it's an important step in the middleweight division because if Dricus du Plessis win, dude, he could go down in as one of the middleweight goats. I don't think that's crazy to say, beating a Khamzat Chimaev in his prime, beating Izzy, beating Sean Strickland twice, beating Robert Whittaker, and the way he's beating them, I feel like you beat Chimaev in his prime, you could definitely be in those talks. And as for Chimaev, you know, being the boogeyman of the division, you know, it's just the start for him if he wins the belt. So definitely excited. Whoever wins, I think it's just going to be an interesting point where we're going to see so many interesting talks right after. like I said, whoever wins. So I'm so excited, man. I'm hyped. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm hyped. Y'all let me know in the comments, man. Like the video. That's all I ask. All right. Peace.